Last night, the Oscars would broadcast on TV celebrating the best movies of 2022. During the ceremony, Chris Rock presented the award for Best Documentary Feature, but not before making a couple of jokes at those nominated that night, including Jada Pinkett Smith. Will wasn't a fan of Rock's joke and decided to confront Rock on stage, slapping him across the face live on air. Now, comedians making jokes about celebrities at award shows isn't anything new, especially considering this isn't the first time Rock made a joke at the Oscars at Jada's expense. After the incident, many wonder if this shocking moment was staged. Since then, it has been revealed that it was a real event in which Chris Rock has now responded by not pressing charges against Smith. In a separate statement, the LAPD would go on to comment on the incident. LAPD investigative entities are aware of an incident between two individuals during the Academy Awards program. The incidents involve one individual slapping another. The individual involved has declined to file a police report. If the involved party desires a police report at a later date, LAPD will be available to complete an investigative report. Today we have our Comedy Hype analysts, Vanessa Fraction, Capone, and Pierre calling to the show to give their reactions. But first, let's take a look at this clip.
Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it, all right? That was a nice one. Okay. I'm out here. Richard. Oh, wow. Wow. Will Smith just smacked the shit out of me.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
Wow, dude.
Yes.
It was a G.I. Jane joke.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth!
I'm going to, okay? Okay. That was a greatest night in the history of television. Okay.
I think it's safe to dive right in. Pierre, I'll come to you first. What's your reaction when you first saw that clip?
That Will Smith went from West Philly to North Philly real quick, boy. Woo! Anybody know Philly know what I'm talking about. Wow, I mean, it was shocking, like everyone thought. I didn't think it was staged because, you know, what you're not going to do is slap me as a joke on no national TV. So I knew it wasn't staged. It was just a situation that that Will just had enough of enough, you know. I'm not saying it was correct, but I can understand the emotions behind something. A guy took a lot of stuff for the last couple of years. Chris Rock did some jokes about his wife in the 2016 one. And it just culminated to that night and that moment at the time. He just exploded. Sure, sitting home, you can sit there and say, you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to be more. I mean, you're not in that situation. So I'm not condoning it. Didn't say it was right. But and I think Chris Rock handled it like a G. He didn't retaliate. He just said what he had to say. So for that moment, I got that.
Vanessa, I want to come to you next. When you saw the clip, what was your reaction?
I went through a lot of emotions with that clip. I definitely was shocked, as Pierre said. I was like, whoa, I didn't know what was going on. I was like, what the hell is going on? Like, you know what I mean? I didn't think it was staged. I was like, what the hell is going on? I was like, what did he say? I had to hurry up and figure out what Chris said that would invoke such a move, you know what I mean, or whatever. I don't think that, you know, physical violence is the way when somebody says something that you don't like, you know what I mean? I do, it's not about right and wrong to me. Sometimes it's about the decisions that you decide to make, and Will decided to slap Chris for what he felt was offensive and for the honor of his wife and protecting her spirit and so forth. And I'll say, I feel my husband would do the same damn thing. So I don't know if it's right or wrong, but if you start crossing too many lines of disrespect when it comes to the woman that he is to protect and the family that he is to protect, and you're right here in my face, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like that. People keep going with the little Twitter fingers and whoop-de-whoop, but you know, it wasn't the response that I expected. I will definitely say that, but so I was in quite a bit of shock.
Right, yeah, and I think a lot of people are definitely chiming in on this one. Capone, I want to come to you next. What's your reaction when you first saw that clip?
I think it was definitely unwarranted. The joke wasn't a joke about Jada, about her hair or anything, and everybody's taking that out of context. It was a G.I. Jane joke because she was bald-headed. That was pretty much it. And to go up there and smack Chris Rock, like, come on, man. And then it's just the whole thing of the play where nobody intervened. This brother can just go sit back down because he's Will Smith after he assaulted somebody on stage, and there's no repercussions and you still get the Oscar and be able to make your speech. I'm really just, it's crazy. I wonder if a white comedian would have said something, would it would have been the same reaction.
And so let me ask you this, Capone, because I think the sensitivity of it with Jada having to cut her hair is because she deals with alopecia, which she has spoken out about. So, you know, that's a condition where, you know, it wasn't a choice to cut her hair. It was, you know, she had no other choice because she was losing her hair and decided to go ahead and move forward with cutting her hair. So given that, you know, that information, do you think it's justified for him to, you know, feel away or, you know, kind of have a reaction and do something that he felt was best in that moment for him and his wife?
It could have been handled different. There's a lot of Black women out here that lost their edges. And he was laughing at the whole situation until she reacted to it. And okay, yo, dude, don't do that no more. Say something. But to go up there, smack him, and then keep my wife's mouth out your fucking mouth and all of that. Man, everybody had something to say about your wife at one time. Even your wife had something to say about you at some point. About you didn't fulfill her in bed and all of that. But the thing is that I think it was carried away. It was on the wrong stage. And I think it could have been handled differently. And I don't think he would have did that to somebody else.
And yeah, well, and I think we can definitely dive into that. Pierre, I want to come to you. What do you think? Do you think, given the sensitivity of, you know, what Jada is experiencing, that Will is, you know, whether we think it's right or wrong, that he's justified for stepping in?
Well, okay, let's go with it. You know, his emotions got the best of him. And we have to understand, let's look at the lineage of, from 2016, Chris Rock talked about him. The Red Table talked about August messing with his wife. And in front of, you know, she's saying what she said. And before y'all go with that, why didn't you do it to August? Why didn't you do that August? She was complicit with the situations, different than someone attacking your wife. She was part of the whole thing that August, you know, most men, sometimes when they get their wife cheating, they gonna handle the wife, not the dude. They're gonna do, because most men know that men would just chase the vagina. You know, I know you women think yours is the best, but trust me, the best vagina is the next vagina. The men, I'm just being honest with you. Look, all right, and we as Black men already have a public relation problem of being violent, aggressive. So that wasn't the right move. And we're the ones asking for white folks or the community or the world to accept us as not savages and over the top. If you don't believe me, look around. We're asking them. Same reason why, I don't know why we cry at the Oscars, but we don't cry at the BET Awards or the NAACP Awards when we win an award, because we feel like white folks are, you know, will complete us. So I think emotionally, he let it get the best of him. I understand. I mean, you don't know what he just wrote a book. He was very emotional in his book. You know what I'm saying? So many stages in the last 3 or 4 years have gotten to that man. So his emotions got the best of him, not saying correctly, but I'm like this. I would have handled it in a situation, maybe did a joke, like, not even a joke, but tell him, look, I'll catch you behind stage, brother. Then behind stage, if I slap you then, I'm not saying meet vines with vines, but if I'm going to do it, I'll do it behind stage so y'all don't see it. Because trust me, if y'all don't see it, it's a different view. Then people start saying, damn, Chris Rock go too far. Oh, he did go, that was back on the joke of what Chris Rock said and not seeing the violence. And when we see it, it changes how we feel about it. No different than if your wife has slept with somebody before she met you, you know that. But if you see the videotape of it, that'll mess your mind up, player. You know what I'm saying? So when we see something, sometimes it really bothers us even more. And that was in front of a national stage, in front of everything.
Now, Vanessa, I want to bring you in on this one and kind of add another layer to it. You know, when you look at it, you know, from hindsight and, you know, from our perspective, why do you think, you know, Will may have taken this approach out of the different approaches? And do you feel that he's justified in, you know, feeling, you know, I feel like you're disrespecting my wife. I feel like you're disrespecting me. It's now time for me to take action. So I want to come to you next, Vanessa. What are your thoughts?
I don't know that he was justified. Again, as we've all said, violence is not necessarily the route that you can go, and there's other ways that you can go aside from being violent. For Chris Rock to try to say that it was a G.I. Jane joke. G.I. Jane hasn't been relevant since when? It was a joke about her bald head. Why you feel like you have to make jokes about people's appearances? When you do that, you take a really big risk of being personally offensive. When you're at the Oscars and you're in something prestigious like that, there are so many other things that you can speak about, such as the movies and the different things that are going on or whatever, and talk about their talents and the gifts that they put out and make jokes about that, as you did with everyone else. But somehow when you got to Jada, it began to speak about how her appearance is on one of the biggest nights in Hollywood in front of her peers and in front of millions of viewers. You want to make a joke that you yourself had a nervous laugh about afterwards, talking about Chris Rock and saying, "Oh, that wasn't even that bad," or "That was an easy one," or "Oh, that was a nice one," I think he said. Yeah. And it was like, so for you to say that, that means that you did mean to be a little bit mean-spirited, or that you did mean to, you know what I mean, hit in a different direction. You know, he could have chose something different too. So no, do I think that he's justified? Again, it ain't about right or wrong. It's what he chose to do in that moment. You know, I'm kind of with Pierre on, you know, again, there was a kind of like, I got you. Okay, I see you. All right, we cool. And then if it would have got to something else behind closed doors or behind the stage or what have you, that would have played a lot differently. To do that on such a big stage in front of everybody, you know what I'm saying? That was a lot. It was a hell of a lot, is what I'll say. And as far as respecting your wife's honor and protecting her honor, I understand that to the fullest. It just feels like, I think as Capone was saying, one of those things where like, that's the straw that broke the camel's back kind of situation, because it seemed like it was a boiling point, and the passion in which he said, "Keep her name out your fucking mouth." It just felt like it couldn't have been just that particular joke.
So, Capone, I want to come to you next, and I actually want to bring in a quote from April Watts Live that says, #unpopular opinion. Will Smith slapping Chris Rock was misdirected anger and frustration behind becoming a joke, a meme, the poster boy for emasculation. By no fault of his own, Chris Rock took that slap for everyone on social media who Will can't hit. So I want to ask you, Capone, as well, you know, what do you think prompted Will to take this action out of all the things that he could have chosen? What do you think led him to get up and walk on stage and take the action that he did take?
I know April Watts personally, and I agree with her 100%. It was a lot of anger. It was a lot of buildup. And we've been seeing this go on. And like Pierre said, even in his book, with the emotions, you know, Will has been a star since a young kid, and he knows nothing more but to be a star. And unfortunately, sometimes becoming a star at such a young age, there's always pressure on you. And this pressure finally bust the pipe. And so I'll say that where everybody's talking about the crazy rapper when they was talking about Kanye West, you know, that's the same type of pressure Will was going through, but being that he's kept it harbored in for so long, and once it burst out, we all look at it like, oh my God, how could he do this? And unfortunately, like she said, Chris Rock was the target for everybody else that put him through it.
Absolutely. Now, Pierre, I know you chimed on that a little bit, and of course, if you want to expand on that, I want to open the floor for that as well. But I do want to ask you, do you think that this will hurt, you know, either Will's or Chris Rock's career, you know, after seeing this on such a big platform and that taking place? Do you think it will have any effect on either of their careers?
I hope not. In these next couple of days, we'll determine if apology is put out, sincere apology was put out, then maybe it won't. If Will stands on his, you know, thing, he believes he did right what he did. You know, I went on his page, his IG page, and a lot of it was negative towards him. A lot was negative. And I went on Chris Rock's page, and a lot of it was positive. And so the sentiment, it seems like a lot of people don't appreciate what Will Smith did. So it's not a good look for Will. Could it hurt his brand? Sure. I mean, that was, you know, uncalled for. Again, you have to, I empathize with his pain. I empathize with it. Not saying it's correct, but I empathize. You could see when he was yelling about keeping my wife's name, that was pain saying that. That wasn't just I'm mad at the moment. That's a lot of pain coming out there. And I understand it, but you have to learn how to hold your temper in certain situations. We cannot react with physical violence just because somebody, you know, did some. When people say protect Black women, yes, there's ways of it. Because if you keep doing that, Black men, you're going to jail. Now she's out by herself. Okay, or you're going to jail. If you think violence is the answer to protect your woman because someone said something to you. Now, if they perpetuate violence to your wife or your woman, of course, protect her that way. But if you just say, I'm going to hit somebody because they said something about my wife, my girl I don't like, you're going to jail, Black man. And when you go to jail, then she's out by herself. Now she's you got vultures around her to take advantage of her. What have you done? You know what I'm saying? That's not smart. It's not a smart move. So I hope he comes out and apologizes. Will Smith does it. Chris Rock can say what he wants as far as apology. Maybe said I shouldn't have went there, whatever. But I think apologies are needed on both sides in some form, and I think that'll make it move smoother for both people's career.
Absolutely, and I would love to see them have a conversation. Vanessa, I want to bring you in on that as well. What do you think? Do you think that this could help or hurt either of their careers after this incident?
I think for Chris, it would help his career. You know, he's already a giant in comedy. He's about to go on tour with Kevin Hart, the Headliners tour, I think it is, or what have you. And I'm sure people are going to want to hear whatever he has to say in response to this, you know. And so I think, and especially with your name trending and everything going on and people looking back at other stuff you said and so forth, sure, I think there'll be a rise for Chris in some ways. And as far as Will's concerned, as far as I know, he got, you know, Gucci money, you know what I'm saying? Like he real good. So as far as messing up his brand and stuff like that, sure, it could tarnish it. Yes, it could have a stain on it, but I think that he's surpassed any kind of like, it's going to hurt me, because he could truly say, I'm done right now and be fine, as well as the fact that he does more producing and stuff like that. So whether he was in front, behind, I don't think it's going to stop his train at all. I did like what Pierre said though, about making sure in protecting Black women that you're making, and I'm not saying, sometimes, you know what I mean? Like I said, he didn't punch, you know, it wasn't like a super violent thing, but to assault somebody with that open hand slap, to me, it came off more like that gentleman's duel, like you've offended my honor, you know, like a slap. You know, of course, and that's better than pulling out guns and shit and trying to solve things or whatever. But as to Pierre's point, even that's assault. That can land you in jail. If you already got a record, if some other shit going on, or starting a record, none of that stuff is where you want to be. And so trying to think past that particular moment about the best course of action. I do think a lot of times a course of some action needs to be taken, you know what I mean, or what have you. But yeah, violence shouldn't be the first thing that you do. And I agree with him as well about, I think there should be apologies on both sides.
Now, Capone, I want to bring you in on this as well as extend, because I know you mentioned something earlier. But first, do you think that this situation will help or hurt either of, you know, Chris Rock's or Will Smith's career?
I mean, I think that it will help Chris Rock's career, because even the night when it happened last night, he actually made a joke about it. He smacked the hell out of me on TV, or smacked the shit out of me on TV. And that's true comic genius. Yeah, he's it's gonna definitely be talked about again. And no comedian who went through that would not talk about it. As far as Will Smith, I personally think that, my personal opinion, even though he's rich and he has a lot of offers, a lot of his movies wasn't shining like they were. So hopefully this does help his career, and just be a man and apologize about what he's done. You know, to smack another Black man on national TV is crazy to me.
Now, I know you mentioned earlier, Capone, and I know I mentioned this to you about, you know, if Chris Rock was white, would Will have went on stage? So I actually want to read a comment that someone also feels the same way, and then kind of get you guys' thoughts on that as well. And Pierre, I know you mentioned this as well. So Donald B says, just wondering, if Chris Rock was white instead of Black, would Will Smith still have been given the Oscar 29 minutes later? Would Will Smith still be out there or in police custody? AMPAS is a reflective of U.S. society. Black on Black violence is okay and has no consequences. So I'll start with you, Pierre, because I know you mentioned this as well. What are your thoughts on that? You know, I think a lot of people are kind of leaving those comments of, you know, well, if Chris Rock was white, or, you know, just different situations. What are your thoughts given that comment?
I don't like to go into ifs, you know. I like to stay with what happened, not if and after and maybe and what if. What happened? We talked about what happened. I don't care about the if. I'm gonna deal with what happened, because Will might have still smacked him if it happened. Then what? What point did we prove then? Like, okay, he smacks white and Black. Now we're feeling good about it. No. Let me tell you, I think maybe at the time how Will felt, if a white comic, let's say Pete Davidson, whatever, had been ridiculing him constantly and all his wife and all the time for the last couple of years, I believe Will would have done the same thing. You know, I don't know, but I'm going to give it, just because you asked me the question, I'm going to say, yes, I think he would have. What's really sad about the whole thing is, I think it might be the first time a Black man got a chance to produce the Oscar. Mr. Will Packer did a chance to do that. It's now being overshadowed by this incident. Even the fact that Will won an Oscar is being overshadowed. We're talking about this more than the Oscar win. And it's a shame that one incident almost devalued the whole rest of the show. And it was a great show up until that. You strap that part out, and it was a great show. You can applaud my man Will Packer for doing it. Now it has a negative stain on it. Here we go again, as Black folks trying to crawl up a little bit and get yanked down on some bullshit. So I don't care what color it was. That kind of thing shouldn't happen on that show. Next year, when a white person does the show, Producer, then you start whipping ass if you want to. Shit.
Capone, I want you to chime in because I know you mentioned it a little bit earlier, and it sounds like you may have been on the opposite side of what Pierre's saying on the beginning end of his statement. So I want to get your thoughts. Are you still feeling the same as you felt earlier, or given after hearing Pierre, where do you stand?
I still have the same feelings about it. I do agree with Pierre though. Like it happened. I could say if Kevin Hart was on stage, would he have smacked him? Being that he's a little guy and he's from Philly and all of this other talk. And so you never really can tell what would happen. But my opinion is, if it was a white comedian, it probably wouldn't have been the same type of results. And I'm gonna stick to that.
Vanessa, I see your face, so I definitely want you to chime in on this one. What do you think about the comment? Them saying that if Chris Rock was white, it would have been something. What are your thoughts?
I don't think that color really mattered. I think it mattered of her feeling disrespected and him feeling like the way that it was said. The joke wasn't said in love. It didn't seem to be, or whatever. So I think that his response probably would have been the same, and people do crazy stuff, like how quiet it got during the Oscars, when that happened and stuff. Everybody was like, did this just happen? Is this, you know what I mean? So it's not like when that happened, you would expect security to come and bum rush him or any of that type of stuff. And especially if in the end, Chris is saying like, no, I don't want to press charges, whatever. It's like, so I don't know. You know what I mean? I think everybody was in shock against a prestigious award ceremony. So you don't think anything like that is going to happen. There aren't like security, stopping celebrities from touching other celebrities. So,
You never know what can make for good TV. But I do think, now the internet has resurfaced the video of Will Smith slapping someone white on a red carpet. Different circumstances, obviously, but a lot of people are using that to respond to that question. Also, allegedly, it has been surfaced that Chris Rock didn't write the joke. Allegedly, it came from the writer's room, so it was something that was written for him prior to the award show. So
concerning. I'm about to say that's concerning if that's the fact, because there's so many eyes that have to see that script before it actually gets.
And he gets to see it. He gets to see it too. He can take a joke out, and I don't want to hear that joke. He does have an opportunity now. I mean, he might not wrote the joke, but he saw the joke and said it, and I'm okay with it. I mean,
if that's what he wanted to do.
Yeah,
and it seemed like his style of things and the way that he does it. You know what I mean? Some people have that style of where they talk about people or whatever. I don't agree with that style, but some people lean on and you take risks with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I appreciate you all for calling and chiming on this one. It's definitely a deep one with a lot of layers. I do wish the best for the both of them. I hope, we do see them come together and have some type of conversation, because I think it's definitely a needed one. But if not, the internet will live forever. So I appreciate you all for calling and chiming in. You heard from us. Now we want to hear from you in the comments below. What are your reactions to Will Smith going on stage to smack Chris Rock? For Comedy Hype News, I'm Symphony Thompson.
You know what you're going to do? You know what you got to do? You know what you got to do?
I know you already doing it. Put it in the comments.
All right. I'm going to read it. Start off with my name and I'll read it. I'll read that comment.
Did you enjoy today's show? You can stop by comedyhype.com/shop to pick up your Comedy Hype News show mug today. And don't forget to always protect Black culture.